Wednesday morning, Martin Kilcoyne comes your way in 1 hour. Then you got John Carney. Then you got Frank and the gang. You got the sports guys. You got Scott Sherman, and we'll do it all again tomorrow morning here on the Big 550 KTRS. Story in yesterday's hometown newspaper, STLTODAY.com, also at St. Louis Post-Dispatch, from our good friend Nick Pistor about a city-county merger. It's been rumored and talked about ever since right after the Civil War when they split apart. Is it possible that it actually might be coming together? Nick Pistor is actually, let me do this. Let me turn down some of the other windows as to why I should be good. All right, now bring him up. Nick, are you there?
I'm here.
No. Hold on a second. What? How about now? You there now?
I'm here.
All right. I don't know. I had some other window open. Good morning this morning, Nick Pistor from the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, your beat, City Hall. Thanks for joining us via Skype, we should say.
Glad to be here.
All right. So the story goes that there's a new group called, you reported, Better Together. What are they trying to do?
They say their chief job is to talk to the citizens, have these formal meetings, gather information, do a bunch of studies, and see what the possibilities are of working together between the city and the county. Now, the very name of the group is Better Together, which seems to imply that they're interested in something more, something like a merger, something like the city re-entering the county, because many of these people, Francis Slay sits on the board of this thing and has said he would like to see that. Charlie Dooley, who's on the board as well, has said that, as well as Bert Walker, who's had a very keen interest in making these sorts of things happen. So we'll see what the public input sessions result in. There are a lot of people, particularly in St. Louis County, who are opposed to it. In the past, this has been put on the ballot. It hasn't formally been put on the ballot since 1962. It failed then, and it failed in 1959, 1930, and 1926. This, other times they tried it. The county has always been the heaviest opposition to it. A poll done by this Missouri Council for a Better Economy group, which is funding Better Together, which is interested in a lot of different things in this issue, has found that most county residents do oppose a full-blown merger.
Yeah, it's interesting you bring up the name of the group isn't called Better Apart. It's called Better Together, so it has has a connotation.
And it's not Better Together or apart, or better together, or maybe not, or whatever you decide. It's better together.
right. Yeah, it isn't. Let's see which way's better.org. Yeah, it's better together. So the idea, I guess, is to get public opinion is then being asked for, right? They want the public to come and listen and more or less tell them what they think.
Yeah, they're holding 6 sessions, and then I think there's going to be a whole bunch of research. They're going to request a lot of documents. I mean, essentially looking at things like, St. Louis County has 90 municipalities, 90 different government agencies that are designed to do the same essential services. Some of these places are struggling for resources. I think the real question is, if we had to design our government over again today, do it the way it is, most people would say not. However, you get into a lot of complicated things. A lot of people in the county don't want to have the city. They fear certain things about the city. But you have some people in the city who may not be interested in being a part of the county. The county has its own problems. The city's been more on a rise the past few years. Downtown has seen more population growth as well as some neighborhoods. Crime remains a problem, which is what the county doesn't want, but the county has its own rising crime.
16 months this group is going to be together? I mean, it seems like an awfully long time for public input.
It is a long project. I think the ultimate goal is that they would be ready to have something on a ballot in 2016, maybe. Whatever they decide, and I don't know who will determine what the course of action will be, if they'll just decide we want to pursue a merger, if we want to pursue the city re-entering the county, or if we're going to keep it the same. It remains unclear who will be making those decisions.
Right.
These informational sessions will focus on different topics like, municipal governance, those types of things.
Right, but the thing about it is, Nick, it's so interesting because all the honchos want it, right? I mean, everybody's on board. Slay wants it. Rex Field wants something. George Herbert Walker wants it. All good, powerful people. And so but we don't know what it looks like. Does the city become part of the county? Does the county become part of the city? Does the city become just another city within the county? Does it become a borough, as you mentioned in your article?
Right.
I mean, give us something to chew on and to talk about at least.
Well, and I think that's what a lot of people would like to see. It was kind of comical yesterday at the announcement that they had, because each person that spoke went out of their way to declare this is not about a merger, this is not a merger, not a merger. Yet ultimately, that's the thing in the room. That's the thing everybody is talking about. That's the thing that if you're going to do this, people are going to want to look at. Yet they're just trying to say, well, we'll see whichever way the wind blows. Yet these are the people who make those types of decisions. And ultimately, it'll come down to whatever role they decide they're going to pursue for a ballot initiative.
Right. I mean, it's almost comical in that if you were to merge the city and the county, a couple of offices would go away. That's about it. You'd save some money on some redundancies. It all of a sudden wouldn't be that the guy who's robbing somebody on Washington Avenue is going to think, wait a minute, I can now go to the county and rob somebody because we're now merged, right? I mean, it's really just about saving a couple of dollars because of a couple of redundancies, right?
Yeah. However, I think they argue that it's a lot more than a couple of dollars. That particularly if they did a full-blown merger, mega government, a mega situation where the entire county and city are one government, that would eliminate all the municipalities. So a place like Kirkwood would go away. A place like all those places go away, and
right.
They become under one envelope. And they claim that could save up to $2 billion a year.
Yeah, I go back a couple of years ago. Was it Clayton and Richmond Heights just talked about merging their school districts, and there was almost a mutiny over there?
Yeah, and those are the issues that but you see a lot of these municipalities are wanting to explore those things. Most of the ones in the county just don't want to have the city a part of it, but they are struggling to do their own resources. The idea of a small municipality having their own police department and administering all of these resources is becoming a bit of a luxury, and few places in the future may be able to do it. And so as they pursue these sort of intergovernmental agreements, the question could be, are there better ways for us to do this? Should we all merge into one entity? Would that be stronger and make our economy better, free up some money for them to try other projects, to lure other businesses here, other than just spend a lot of money on layers of government?
Yeah, it's also interesting because you can't annex certain areas either. So even if they were to merge the city into the county, it's not going to come a time where St. Louis region can then annex St. Charles or St. Peter's or, Cottleville or Warrenton, right? I mean, other cities and other entities can sort of annex larger and larger blocks of land to bring them into the tax base. That's never going to happen around here.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, is that what you're concerned about as a Cottleville resident?
Well, no, I don't want to be a part of the St. Louis County region. No, I'm but I mean, every other city has the ability to sort of annex land and then take it, keep the tax base. People really shouldn't care what the name is on the back of the guy picking up your garbage, right? If it's city or county government, you just want your garbage picked up. But I mean,
I've read a study years ago that talked about St. Louis region. There was a book that looked at governmental things, and it talked about St. Louis being so parochial, and that people really view their one area as that's how they are. And,
right.
And it's very hard to get people, particularly older people, to remove that idea in their mind.
Right. Yeah. And then somebody said to me one point that local government really just should be a zoning board. Right, so do you really need a mayor of Kirkwood and a mayor of Webster Groves and a mayor of Florissant, or do you just need a sort of zoning board that says, no, you can't put that restaurant there, that sign can't be there, yes, this is residential, this is commercial?
And that's something that these informational sessions can look at different types of models and how it should be done. But ultimately, any changes, the real question, and some people have some concerns about it. I talked to State Senator Lamping, and he was saying that his concern is he's heard talk in the shadows that they're going to try to put this on a statewide ballot and not just allow St. Louis City and St. Louis County to decide the fate of this. And that is a concern for some people.
Yeah, that's interesting, too. All right, that's Nick Pistor, our buddy from STLTODAY.com via Skype. You look good, Nick. Do you sleep with that tie on, or is that?
I do. This is how I just got out of bed. So
Scoop Pistor from STLTODAY.com.
Thank you.
Nick, great job as always. Check back in. We love having you on. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.
Bye. All right, Nick Pistor here on the Big 550 KTRS via Skype, and the picture and the quality looked fantastic, I should say.